Well, I'm not bashful about my favorite poet. Right now, it's David Whyte. There are poets whose work you admire, and then there are poets whose work feels like it's been walking beside you. Waiting for a moment, you finally turn and recognize the companion who has been speaking to you your entire life. David Whyte is that kind of poet for me. His voice enters not with a flourish or ornament, but with a steady clarity that it feels like somebody placing a warm hand on your shoulder saying, pay attention, I'm walking with you, life is speaking, life is speaking. I like how David Whyte uses repetition, right? What draws me to Whyte's poetry is not simply the beauty of his language, though it's undeniably beautiful, but the way he writes from the interior of experience. He does not describe life from a distance. He steps right into life, stands knee-deep in the uncertainties, and speaks from the inside out. His poems feel lived, not crafted. They don't feel artificially manipulated for optics. They are discovered, and he invites us in with his words to participate in thinking about several things in life. And his poetry reminds me that poetry is not merely an art form, but a way of being awake in the world. One of the qualities I admire most is his insistence on courageous presence. Whyte has a way of naming the things we spend years avoiding, the ache of longing, the quiet griefs we carry, the thresholds we fear to cross. In his poem, Sweet Darkness, he writes, you must learn one thing, the world was made to be free in. That line is very simple, but it feels kind of like, to me, it feels like a light in a dark hallway, kind of lighting up the path. It reminds me that freedom is not a distant ideal, but it's a daily practice of stepping forward, one step at a time, courageously. Whyte also writes with a rare tenderness toward the ordinary. He finds revelation in the small, unguarded moments of a day, the way a door closes behind you, the sound of a kettle warming, the shape of a conversation that changes you without your noticing. And his poem, Everything is Waiting for You, is a perfect example. In it, he suggests that the world is not indifferent to us, but quietly, patiently inviting us back into a relationship. He uses the word invitation a lot in his writing. I've seen that time and time again, where his language, his articulation uh, is inviting us into seeing the world in a slightly different way. And that's really what poets do, really, is inviting you to spend your life or see life in an altered perspective, in a maybe a little more positive perspective than you've been seeing it before. The idea has stayed with me, especially in seasons when life feels rushed or fragmented. And Whyte reminds me that the sacred is not elsewhere, it's right here. It's in the overlooked corners. It's actually right in front of us, but we have to look for it. The sacred and the numinous are right here. They're right here. He has musicality of thought. He has conversational intimacy. I think his poem honors honesty, that he doesn't embellish or it doesn't feel like a show. His poems don't feel like a big show, where there's some poets out there that are sort of glitzy and they have to glitz it up with fancy stuff. And Whyte, he is what he is. And I'd like to think I'm kind of like that. I use simple language to describe, um, sometimes rhyming, sometimes not. It's fun to experiment with non-rhyming poetry, but there's still a charm in it. I don't think it'll ever leave me. about rhyming poetry, something that's musical. There's a musicality, there's a lyrical nature to a poem. I think that's really cool. So just some thoughts on my favorite poet, David Whyte. Who's your favorite poet? Share it down below. And if you have a guest that you want me to have on the Poet Show, put it down there. I've got so many, just in the state of Wisconsin, I have so many great poets and writers to interview. So I'm looking forward to it. On the July show, we have Jen Cornell. And on an August show, we have part 2 of Carl Stewart, a fascinating Fond du Lac County writer. And okay, well, anyway, I'm having too much fun with the channel, and I hope everybody has a really great week, and summer's on the way. It's almost here.